Yo, what is up, folks? MTG here with the third installment of my meta check series, looking at the best decks in Pioneer and its MTG Arena equivalent format, Explorer, going into 2025. Today we're taking a look at Jund's Sacrifice. Sacrifice as itself has been around in the format for a very long time, generally in Rakdos, but we had a new edition kind of like with Bloomberg last year, this new Jund build based around a Yigra. And this deck is very, very powerful. It is kind of consolidated into one general build with a little like some slight variances, but overall this is currently the best sacrifice deck in the format. So let's talk about the combo first. If you're not familiar, Yigra Eater of All is a 5 mana 6/6, 3 black green, ward sacrifice of food. Other creatures are food artifacts in addition to their other types, and have 2 tap sacrifice permanent, gain 3 life. That food ability, whenever a food spins are going for play, it gets counters, but primarily you're using it for the ability to turn your other creatures into food. And this allows you to combo infinitely if you have two copies of Cauldron Familiar between your field and your graveyard. So with Yigra in play, you have a Cauldron Familiar in play, which is a food, and a Cauldron Familiar in your graveyard. You sacrifice the Cauldron Familiar in play to return to the other one to the battlefield, and then you activate the ability of the one in the graveyard to sacrifice the one in play, and you flip-flop them until you've drained your opponent for infinite life. That is a really awesome combo. The general problem is that Yigra's 5 mana is a little bit slow. So to get around that, we have Scavenger's Talent down at the bottom here. Black class enchantment. And at the first level, whenever one or more creatures you control die, get a food token. Okay, interacts really, really nicely with Cauldron Familiar anyway. Does all the stuff you want to do. Lets you start building up food in play. Once per turn, can trigger on both your and your opponent's turn. But really, the powerful thing is the second and third abilities. The second ability for 1 and a black, whenever you sacrifice a permanent, target player mills 2 cards. Now, when we have Yigra and Cauldron Familiars, we want to really get Yigra and like a couple of Cauldron Familiars in the graveyard, or at least one in the graveyard with one in play. And so being able to just mill yourself to find all the cards you need is excellent. The first step, the first level of the class helps you like kind of build up a number of food tokens in play while you're doing your traditional Witch's Oven, Cauldron Familiar type stuff. We also have like Deadly Dispute here. You can spend the first few turns building up resources, but the third ability, or Scavenger's Talent, at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice 3 other non-land permanents if you do return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Note, you get to sacrifice 3 other non-land permanents. They can be tokens. They don't have to be creatures. They can be food. They can be treasure, whatever you want. And being able to sacrifice them will trigger the other abilities of the card. So you can even like, hey, that'll get you some extra mills here, and it'll also maybe get you a food token if you haven't used it already that turn. But that then lets us bring Yigra back from the graveyard, and then even on end step, because the Cauldron Familiar in play, obviously we don't need priority to do this. Well, we need priority. We don't need, like, it doesn't need to be our main phase. We can just end step, bring Yigra back, and kill them before they can untap. Which is really, really solid. Very, very good. This kind of powers the entire combo. It's 2 to level up the first time, 3 the second time, but then you're ideally immediately winning the game. And so the rest of the deck's trying to kind of obviously interact and survive. We have like our, and the reason why you play the black-red version is because the power of Fable and Mirror Breaker, Mayhem Devil, is just still so good, and you can win the game that way. But you're kind of like looking to assemble this combo as this finisher. And so, hey, multiplying this win the game, but the Yigra combo itself is very hard to interactive because it all comes back from the graveyard anyway. At least for game 1. And we'll get into some kind of like things you can do post-board to make a game plan. So around that, we have our Cauldron Familiars and we have our Witch's Ovens, the kind of classic. We have the Scavenger's Talent. We have the 2 copies of Yigra up here. We have some interaction. So 4 copies of Fatal Push versus the Agrax in the format. We've got 2 Claim the Firstborns here as well. These are more of a flex slot, I would say, but still very, very versatile. Being able to remove your opponent's stuff, sacrifice it away to get some resources. Obviously, steals a creature. You can sacrifice the Witch's Oven. You can sacrifice the Deadly Dispute to draw cards. It is fantastic still, but only 2 copies because it's not good in every matchup. Or Deadly Dispute, help you draw towards your other cards, get your sacrifice things, get your like stuff going online, and also ramp you if you have to actually cast Yigra, which you can do like early as well, and hey, if you draw it, then you can just put it into play. 1 Legion Extruder. This is, I would say, a flex slot, but has become very, very standard, and is actually an awesome addition to the deck. 1 red artifact, when it enters, it deals 2 damage to any target, so it's like some removal, okay, nice, but 2 tap, sacrifice another artifact, create a 3/3 golem artifact creature token. And we have a bunch of other artifacts lying around. You've got food tokens, either like doing like Witch's Oven, Scavenger's Talent stuff. We have the blood tokens from Blood Harvester, and all kinds of like treasure shenanigans from Fable and Deadly Dispute as well, to be able to like make 3/3s, generate more sacrifice triggers. It is excellent, and notably, this isn't like gated by being at sorcery speed either. So super nice. Fable of the Mirror Breaker is incredible. Yep, enough said. Again, helps you loot through towards getting your like combo line as well. And then Mayhem Devil running out here. This is the main reason to play red. Like Fable is like really good, and I have played. There are versions, and I've played versions of Black Green Sacrifice where you play a more streamlined all-in combo variant, just going all in on the Ygra combo. But Mayhem Devil, just being able to deal with any kind of creature threats that you have to come up against and just provide an alternate win condition is still fantastic. There are also decks in the format that just cannot play versus this card, and that's awesome too. And then the 2 copies of Ygra. Mana base is like fairly straightforward in terms of like Jund lands. I will have a deck list in the description, so if you're a copy from there. The most interesting thing I think is the 1 Fountain Port. Does token sacrifice stuff for us. So having 1 here, even though it's like corrupting our mana base a little bit, like we don't have loads of green sources because ideally we were bringing Ygra back from the graveyard. We can even discard it to food or the Fable if we need to. But our primary way of putting Ygra to play is going to be reanimating it. And we also have like treasures floating around if we do need to cast it. There's only a few green sources, but the most important thing is like there's a Fountain Port here for some versatility. There's Den of the Bugbear here for some control matchups. You get some extra tokens off Kenzin. Okay. But yeah, list in the description to copy and paste from. The sideboard. Okay. Thoughtseize versus combo decks and more controlling stuff. Then we have Haywire Might and Poor Patch Formation for some artifact enchantment hate. The formation like doubles up as being able to do like other good stuff as well. Like it makes the tokens that we need to kind of carry on doing combo things if we need to. And obviously can provide a nice answer with flyers, but both of these, some nice artifact enchantment hate. You do not want to play against temporary lockdown. Obnixless is really important here. It provides an alternate threat versus decks that are going to bring in things like Rest in Peace and other like effects to kind of stop your graveyard stuff from working. You could go up on the number of copies here, but we're going 1 Obnixless, we're going to be boarding in like the Thoughtseizers, and there's also a Duress to come in with these for those matchups where you're more worried about disruptive cards. 2 Chandra's Defeat is great removal versus red decks, but also is like a shout out to like if you end up playing against Quintorius combo, it does shoot down the Quintorius or the dinosaur, the discovered Carnosaur, the discovered dinosaur. And if you do that at the right time, they don't have anything to copy, so they can't combo. Torture Tower, early removal versus aggro decks. 1 copy of Heartless Act, again, some like variable removal here, because we don't have removal for big creatures in the main deck. And so Heartless Act's coming in for the bigger things, so we might have to kill like a Shoal Dread or something like that, or like an Atraxa. A Torture Tower coming in versus the early aggro decks in the format. 1 Damping Sphere. Shout out to the fact that we do have Lotus Field on Arena now to play against, and 2 copies of Unlicensed First for our own artifact and enchantment hate. Right, that is a list. I'm going to take this into some best of 3 matches. Hopefully we'll be able to showcase a couple of different matchups. We'll see how things go. If you're not ready, please subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. And let's get into some games. Right, Sacrifice. I should say, for these matchup videos, they're going to be about 20 minutes, going like an overview of the deck, and then like having a look at it being played in matchups. For best of 3 with Sacrifice, I don't know if we're going to get more than 1. No land to a mulligan. Is it better than going to 5? I don't think it is in this deck. Okay, yeah, case in point, I guess. Okay, sure. But here we are. Okay, mono green. There are not going to be many points for us to interact. I'm just going to go ahead and fatal push this now. Then we can familiar Scavenger Town next turn. Or familiar. Both. Kind of back where we started. Okay, that's fine. Let's do that then. We'll go familiar oven. But when your opponent's got mana, you want to do these the other way around. But yeah. Your
I defy gods. Defying you will be easy.
I'm not going to want to attack with this. We're gonna play a Scavenger's Talent out, but we can definitely attack with this. Alright, we hit 3rd land. I'm gonna play this. We'll see what they do here. Yeah, no interest in blocking. We were just like playing this out. We're not gonna be able to attack with these anymore. We're better off going level up here. Yeah. We don't have a way to trigger the first ability on both our turns unless they like blocked it for some reason. That's fine. They haven't got a Decklist yet, which is good for us, but they are going to be able to like storm the festival and do all kinds of other stuff next turn. Okay, they do have another 3-mana thing to do. Second troll. Alright. The pressure's coming in. Alright. 252. We're going to mill ourselves here. Idea being, if we can find a cat, then we can find lethal. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this now. Okay, 2 guys on the graveyard. Realistically, there's a trigger here. I'd rather have the freedom play for now. Okay, so we got bonus. Let's see, try and level this up next turn. Alright, let's see what goes on. We're in 22. We're gonna take some damage here from the Orgros Trolls. The only one worry is if they have like Storm the Festival and get to like go into even more monstrosity. At the minute we're just kind of spinning wheels. They do have the Necphos for 12, so maybe we do just lose on the spot. There's Storm. Elvish Mystic Invasion. They play the Necphos for turn, so they have another land drop available. There's a monstrosity, but they have extra mana. Oh, they've not untapped the Fiora yet. Maybe I'm just gonna die, I think. That's not great. Yeah. I mean, we're on the multi-5. This is the nature of the Human Arena. So obviously we gave them like effectively 5 turns. They transform this. The transform version is an 8/8 with trample and haste. So everything else trample and haste. Yeah, we're more than dead. Even though we can gain like 6 life here or something. This is mono green. We don't have loads going on. We can have like boarding to interact with them isn't generally a great plan. I think like we can bring in the damping sphere. It sounds like Necklace. And that's probably about it. Like we could bring in like let's see. To claim the firstborns out the which mistakes. Like we don't really need better ways to interact with them. We try to slow them down eventually. Because these don't really hit anything else. Like, actually, no, okay. We can get like old growth troll and stuff like that. Yeah, sure. We can leave everything else the same. And then I'm gonna cut a deadly dispute. Yeah. Gets me on the play. Like some of our hands will just be faster. Here we have Scavenger's Talent. Claim the firstborn plus Blooddive Harvester. We don't really need to sacrifice. But we just kind of need to keep resources. A little bit after the multi-5, but hey, need to get enough stuff in play, and then be able to find the combo. Okay, so we have dispute plus claim, but we can't do this till next turn. That's not true. When I forget that the Llanowar Elf is a Llanowar Elf. Not bad. I'll keep the treasure for now. Might be able to use this to like torpedo us somewhere later on. Okay. Okay, maybe they just do actually have nothing. Play out the Harvester here, and then play out a Cadre Familiar. So go. I'm not gonna rush out the second one again. Like this is the one turn. Like, hey, if we draw Jaeger this time, we can just cast it on turn 4. Yeah, this happens. Okay, we have Fable. I'm gonna remove this because we can. Well, not just because we can. There's some argument whether we should be leveling this up here, but I think just playing out Fable plus the other cat is better. the mono green deck's not gonna have any way to wipe our board. Do we want to take advantage of the slow start? I don't know if they actually just didn't have a land drop, but they can't have. They had to have one of L4 land drops, so they must have just gone AFK for a second, which is. It is what it is. Okay. Elf. Okay. I'll discard both of these. Do we need familiar in the... Yeah. We can sacrifice them. Let's hack here. Alright, I'm going to level this up to level 2. And then level 3. We'll make black mana with the treasure. Use the mill effect here. Okay, let's see. Let's play land. Gonna end step. I'll sacrifice a Cauldron Familiar alongside a food and the blood. And we'll bring back Yegara. We'll start milling them actually. Alright, with Yegara in play, we can activate Cauldron Familiar, sacrifice the Cauldron Familiar in play because it's a food, and we can do this infinitely. And this is the Yegara combo. Alright, yeah, this is why time is an issue. I think like the way sideboarded, like the thing I was considering was like, hey, they bring in some more like remove the creature stuff. There's equal opportunity like where they might not have the land or elf starts rather than bringing in more. Yeah, like they missed an action on their turn. Maybe they were just fed up. Although I went away for a second. But it wouldn't have made a difference. We still be able to kind of combo on curve there. And it kind of no matter what interaction they had. I'll keep this. Hopefully won't get stuck on 2 lands. Always an elf. I'll leave it familiar. I'll make Scavenger talent second. Slightly awkward with double pathway here when we want to make sure we have the right land for Fable. Even okay, a fatal push means you want to pass it back. So to make a decision if we want to go double black or. And okay, so. I think we have to do this, and then we also kind of priced into killing this. It slows us down a bit. I just don't want to draw a like an overgrown tomb and not be able to cast, or a blooming marsh and not be able to cast the Fable. Like if it is an overgrown tomb, we could just play the overgrown tomb. Okay. All right. Mystic plus Aura maybe. Not Kira, I don't have mana for that. Okay, so we did draw a Black Eclipse. And I am just gonna attack. We don't want to trade. This gives them 4 mana, 5 mana if they have a land. That'll get into Cavalier. They're in the think tank, to be fair. Okay. Go Fable. So if we get to keep the treasure here, it might be this might be a cast Yegara angle. Where we discard like Fable and Scavenger's talent. No, not Fable, Scavenger's Cauldron Familiar Scavenger's talent. That's what they have. They have throwback, that's pretty good. But with no action. If we do this, we can cast the Yegara next turn guaranteed. Alright, you untap land. Nice. So, I want to attack here. There's a treasure. We cast Yegara, and then we can go off with a Cauldron Familiar on our graveyard. This version at least has less interaction steps, so we don't have to click through the mill triggers through Scavenger's talent. So, yay for that. And then, yeah, I'll try and fast forward through these. And that just about does it. Alright. Giant Sacrifice. Yeah, only gonna get one match in here. That is the nature of Sacrifice, I think. And the downside of playing best of 3 over best of 1. I know all my feedback has been that best of 3 is better, but for it is rough because they can only showcase like one matchup. This is meant to be like a 20-minute like short video, just like featuring the best builds of the deck at the moment and like some matches are being played. Trying to fill both of those. Even like trying to edit that down a bit is a little tough. But yeah, deck performed very well. Deck is excellent. Would highly recommend it. This is what I was going to be playing in the Pioneer RCQ season this year, except that there isn't one. And so yeah, I'll probably try and take it through as many arena events as I can in the meantime. But I think this is very, very solid. There's still some room for like some tweaking, like the Claim the First ones here and the Legion Extruder are kind of like well, I guess we're called the flex slots, but I've been fairly impressed with this. And Claim's still just incredible in a bunch of matchups. Similarly, like Sideboard elements, I quite like having more ways you kind of adapt versus decks that can kind of interact with your combo. Like more on Decklist is an opportunity. Like, different destruction just depends on what you're facing and what's popular and what comes up as like we kind of go through the year and new decks arise. Very excited for Aether Drift. I've also realized that I spent the entire time doing gameplay recording in this frame. I should be in this frame. And we're playing a graveyard deck, so that's especially bad, but hopefully you can forgive me for that. And yeah. Absolutely would recommend it. This is what I think the best build is at the moment. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do like, subscribe, share it around to anyone you think might be interested or might be interested in the deck. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace out.